I wonder what I can make with this piece of beech. And will it still look like beech by the end? Hello, welcome to this week's video. Piece of beech, as you've just seen in the intro. What is it, 8 inches across? Is it an 8x2 blank? It is a 7 by 2 blank. Right, I've drilled a hole for a screw chuck at some point, some time ago. Can't remember when. Going to put it onto that screw chuck in my Evolution jaws, my Evolution chuck, C jaws with the Axminster screw chuck. Now that is a little longer than the hole I've got in there, so I've got a little spacer here, and then we just wind this on. If you've watched Richard Raffan do this with his lathe running, then you'll know it can be done more quickly. But I like this little workout that it gives me getting it on there. Just a full cut then, bevel rubbing. I want a shallow curve here. Done the rough turning now. Need to put a straight edge on there. It's the C jaws are not jaws that use a dovetail on a tenon. A nice parallel foot there. Okay, now it's quite a ridged surface. You can see the tool marks there. It was not cut with much love, was it? But now that I've got the shaping in, I can concentrate on a finer cut. So the cut and polish is the start of the finish for the back, as well as it being something for helping with the sanding. You can sometimes there's a bit of the abrasive left on the surface. I find this helps buff it up to a nice shine and a lovely smooth finish. So let's just go on the overhead, have a look at the shape that we've got going there. So from here to here, hopefully you can see it's not a straight line, it's a curve, a shallow curve, and it's just going to really sort of sit onto something and lift up. The rim will get a little thinner. It's a pretty bit of beech actually. On this rim I want to have a little central area of some texture going on, so I'm going to mark that off now, just looking at the best tool I want to use to do that. So a little spindle gouge. Okay, so as you can see, I've got it mounted in my carver jig, and time to get the rotary tools out. Now what I'm going to use are these, well, one of them, Manpa carving bits on 1/8 of an inch shank. I've got two of these at the moment, one that's a square cutter, one that's a triangular type cutter. I've used the square one once, so let's crack out the triangle today. So I'm going to hold this with two hands, and I want to find the area on the rim where I can work comfortably, which I think is about here. I'm just touching it lightly onto the surface. Some areas where I haven't quite got any of the surface removed, come back to those areas. There we go. All done. Let's get this cutter put away safely. Right, so the first stage of colour is a wash of some silver paint, a metallic acrylic paint, a Joe Sonia one, and a bit of clyster medium to thin it down, make it less opaque or more transparent, depending on which way you look at things. And this is going to have stain applied over the top of it. Let's just wipe off the excess in there, because I want to concentrate the paint in the textured area. So the idea is that this will get show through the stain, give us a little bit of shine, a little bit of sparkle without being too garish. Or it might just be a complete waste of time. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Right to the edge of the groove, running the brush in it. Now I think the blues and greens are going to work quite effectively with this. go with a tiny bit of yellow. Now, there is a bit of me that's possibly a little tempted to get some black over that, as I've often done, but I think I'm going to do without it today. And just leave that clean, as it were, not dry brushed. Can definitely see the shine of the silver paint underneath there, and it will need some protection, but given how much stain has gone on there, I'm going to give that some time to dry, at least 1 cup of tea's time, if not 2. Okay, so here goes with some sanding sealer. Had plenty of time to dry, I hope. So just cutting back the sealer very lightly. And satin lacquer time coming next. Just trying to make watching lacquer dry more interesting. Well, that's all for tonight, folks. Gonna leave that lacquer to dry, put a little bit more on off camera, and probably I'm going to put a bit of wax over the top. I'm not sure, can't decide yet, but I think it's getting too late for me to turn out the inside. That'll have to be a job for the morning. After all, I've got washing up to do. Oh, the domestic delights. Right, see you in the morning. It's the morning, and got my sea swimming hair on. Should have washed it for you, shouldn't I, and been much more presentable than this. Right, one little task remaining. Making it useful by cutting out the middle. Bit of kitchen roll got caught in there. Let's clean that out of the way. I just put a little bit of wax on the edges here. Right, tool rest into position, bowl gouge at the ready, tool rest up a bit. Let's go. bit of microcrystalline wax now. I love this screwdriver. Going to put some over the black as well, but not the textured area. That's going to be a bit of a pain to buff. But it's got a little bit of shine anyway because of the metallic paint in there. Now I've got to give that a little bit of time to go off before I buff it. So a bit of discipline needed. I'll do a bit of tidying up and come back and buff it in a moment. Turning that into a curve. Bit of cut and polish on the bottom there, around that foot. Oh, bit of a kitchen roll got caught in there. There we have it. A rather sensible, restrained, dignified, elegant bowl, not me. Little objet d'art. Quite pleased with that foot. It sounded thinner. It sounded thinner when it was on the chuck. I wonder why. Anyway, I'll get stills up, of course, as usual. The black is a little lumpy in places. I got a little bit carried away with the lacquer. I'm not sure. I wouldn't have preferred to have done that with ebonizing lacquer, but I'll live with it for now. Hopefully it's something you've enjoyed watching, and I will wait until I get back in the shed and do another video, hopefully for next week. Try and keep up a bit more regularly. But term is starting, or has started by the time you've seen this, and that can be quite tiring, working for a living. Until next time, thanks for watching.